sort of kept away from a lot of popular media. I remember being really into the Linda Carter Wonder Woman.
Yes.
In a very sort of, proto-psychosexual way. And then at a certain point, my parents tried to brainwash me into thinking that like television was evil. And then there's a story that like at a certain point, somebody asked me about TV, and I said, Wonder Woman, what your brains? Because I was like, believe that like I wasn't Amish or anything like that, but I still believe that like somehow. So then I didn't really watch television for the rest of my childhood, and so I read books and it was terrible. And so it wasn't until like I was actually like working in entertainment that I actually like bought a television and started like watching things. So I had a lot of catching up to do.
So what do your parents think of your success now?
They pretend, no, they're happy. They're totally happy. I don't know if they understand the shows. They like. I don't know if they're the demo for this.
But they know you work in television and you're successful.
I think so. Yeah. It was just I was like a classics major in college, so I think they thought I was going to be a professor instead of writing superhero stories. But you never know which way life is going to go.
Big premise for a lot of them, right?
Exactly, all that mythology.
Exactly.
Like actually, yeah, I really think that like seeing like Clash of the Titans, like when I was a little kid, and being into I think the reason I became a classics major was because of Indiana Jones and doing this show that has like that intersection of Vandal Savage and sort of I mean, that is my sweet spot, where it's like history mixed up with the mystical, mixed up with like time. The fact that we have time travel on the show is like beautiful for me, because you can go back to the 30s and have Nazi bad guys, and you can have ancient artifacts with mystical powers. And I mean, to me, the show is like a dream come true.
When did you shoot that teaser with everyone in it? Because you haven't shot the pilot.
Yeah, I was not even involved in the show when that happened. That was done in the late winter, early spring. Dermot Downs, one of our directors, who's going to continue on in series, I think shot that in the course of an evening up on a rooftop in Vancouver. So like I saw that as a fan before I was actually part of this, which is a very surreal process where we don't have a pilot yet, and so we're talking about something that only exists kind of in the theoretical world.
So far, all the Warner Brothers DC titles have tended to be single hero pieces.
Yeah.
You're dealing with an ensemble with no one necessarily
being the center point,
being a superstar piece. How do you kind of gather that group, and how do you manage them as a group, and how do you tell the story?
Yeah, I think the fun is like in not managing them. In what little I've written so far, part of the joy is just in the tug of war that's going on, because Rip Hunter assembles this team, but he assembles a team of good guys, bad guys, mixed up people, and it is like herding cats. And there is no, there's something. It's not like the normal sort of Justice League. We're all shoulder to shoulder. It really is this sort of like amorphous, sliding alliances, people who have their own agendas. And to me, that's the real fun of the show, in that it's always going to be sort of shifting sands. Like you never really know if you travel in time. We're purportedly going back to stop Vandal Savage and save the world, but have people like Leonard Starr, who, if they're in 1970s, it's like I might rob a bank, or like I might go, try to write some, if Ray Palmer was like, no, my fiance was murdered, maybe I'll try to like change my own future. And so part of the fun is that everybody's trying to be, Rip's trying to marshal everybody to the sort of the vanquishing Vandal, but at the same time, when you're traveling in time, like who could resist being able to sort of to change your own future, so that when you get back there, life is different.
Now, he says in the promo, "I'm a member of the Time Masters."
Yeah.
Which is very different than Rip Hunter Time Master. Are we going to see any of the others?
We are going to see, and part of the fun with Rip, as with the other characters, is. The story that we hear in the pilot is the onion that we sort of unfold and realize that he has a vested interest in taking down Vandal, and he maybe the Time Masters aren't always going to be his agenda and the Time Masters isn't always going to be like in perfect concert. So this really is about, it's like the Dirty Dozen. It is a show about like a motley ragtag bunch of like f-ups who are like responsible with saving the future of the world. And for me the fun is like when they go back in time and they're trying to do something to stop Vandal, they'll accidentally or purposefully screw up the future in such a way that like it's like we become our own enemy. The butterfly effect of what happens if you do something that has these unforeseeable consequences in the future. And so it's not just about like stopping Vandal Savage in 200 years. It's like, oh man, how do we fix what we screwed up in the last episode? Because like when we look into the future, you realize that like World War III is on the horizon because of something that we did. And I really like having super flawed, effed up heroes because they're just so much more fun than the sort of square jawed perfect ones.
Now, Ryan, your show has 3 major mysteries. 1, who the F is playing Vandal Savage.
Yep.
2, what is up with Jay Jackson? And 3, what is his plan? So, can you give us, to all these 3 mysteries, can you give us one new hint that has not been stated in the interview before?
Well, you're my first interview, so that'll be easy. Oh man, the talking points are so friggin' limited.
Do you have a man for Vandal yet?
Do we have
an actor for Vandal Savage?
We don't. I mean, we certainly have somebody in mind that if we don't get, I'll be sorely disappointed. But the thing with this show is that like we have such an incredible ensemble that I almost don't want to take away from the whatever 8 of us that we've already cast. And I think as we go episode to episode, we will kind of become our own worst enemies. I mean, we will have characters who die. We'll have characters who betray the team. We'll have characters who are left behind in time. So there will be the mythological bad guy, but I think week to week, we will be focusing on the faces that you already know because, like, goddamn, we've got a great cast, and like to not use them to their fullest would be like crazy.
Because Jay Jackson is such a big mystery still because we have not seen anything of him. We have not seen an interview of him of that many such. So it's like, what can you say about Jay Jackson at all?
I will say he's probably the last person that Professor Stein wanted to share Firestorm with. I mean, like I said, for me it's all about tension and interpersonal friction. So like, this isn't the normal superhero story where everybody's like on the same team, like pushing in the same direction. It's really about us sort of turning on ourselves and whether we can like learn to get along in order to save the world.
Will Rip Hunter be a regular or a recurring character?
Absolutely, he'll be in every episode, and it's actually too bad that Arthur's not here. Yeah, I know.
I agree, as you can see.
Thank you.
Mr. Goldpen.
Yeah.
Theatrically, DC has Suicide Squad coming. So can you maybe talk about whether you think the notion of the hero is darkness for some reason? Your ensemble is not an ensemble of traditional DC super goody heroes.
Yeah.
And Suicide Squad is reflective of the same trend theatrically.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, not that our show is the sort of dark, though. I mean, in a weird way, I think this is going to be the most comedic of the Berlanti shows because they are adults with really, I think Ray Palmer is hilarious. I think Leonard Stark in his own way is hilarious. I think like trying to force Victor Garber's Professor Stein onto a spaceship with this motley crew of people, like it's I don't want to say like it's not sitcom, but it is like it's a romp, it's a caper. It's like, to me, it's like Oceans, where you have like this crazy team of people that shouldn't be working together except for their stated goal. But it's like the way things go wrong is like, to me, that's the goal of this show. And so like you're right. It's not goody like let's all save the world, but to me it's like there's a lightness to it in tone that there's a real fun. I mean, it's so much fun to write. It's so much fun. I mean, it's like the other, I've worked on Chuck and Veronica Mars and shows that you know, they've got real darkness to them, but they've also got a sense of humor, or at least like sardonic, snarky wit. And to me, these characters, that's how they sound in my head. Yeah.